In this show, is Apple killing Facebook? Microsoft thinks Apple is out of control. Will a portless iPhone lead to cheaper AirPods? And Marcin Kowalczyk's setup. I'm Dave, and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you. And if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 1300 UTC, like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring my bell. Facebook owner Meta's stock dropped yesterday nearly 20%, wiping nearly $180 billion from their company value when they were around $3 billion behind the market's revenue expectations. And it's all Apple's fault, obviously. Meta is, of course, the name for Facebook's group of companies, which includes Instagram, WhatsApp, and the VR platform formerly known as Oculus. Facebook has pointed the finger directly at Apple, saying that the privacy controls implemented in iOS have materially reduced their ad revenues and caused their profits to fall compared to expectations. What Apple has actually done is require Facebook to just ask if they want to track users outside the app. And yes, as expected, many users don't really fancy that. Then Facebook went on to say that Apple is simply favouring Google, as the Chrome browser is far more easy to track users through, and as Google currently pays Apple to be their default search engine on the iPhone and the iPad, that Apple is simply putting the boot in to Facebook to help their friends at Google. Not, of course, acknowledging that Google produced the only viable competitor to iOS in Android. What Facebook didn't mention as prominently was that their active daily users were also down for the first time ever, because the ads aren't relevant enough, obviously. Not by a huge margin, but by a significant one. From personal experience, I'd say that I spend far less time on Facebook than I have in the past, maybe 10% of what I did at the peak, but I'm still there kind of most days, and I wonder if, even though the daily users aren't down that much, the amount of use is down a lot. I wonder if a lot of users who used to spend a lot of time there are now just checking in briefly most days rather than spending a lot of time there. Of course, it's much easier to blame Tim Cook for being mean, but what could Facebook actually do about this? Well, one of the things that springs to mind for me is de-emphasising their mobile app and encouraging people to visit in the browser. Now, this seems counterintuitive because it won't just be there on the desktop, but tracking is far easier there, at least for now. And just like Apple is gently nudging Intel Mac users towards Apple Silicon with features that are exclusive to the M1 in macOS each year, Facebook might well offer some experiences that only work in the browser, specifically in Chrome, over the native app or in Safari. Now, this is just my speculation, but I wanted to get it out there because if I was Facebook, and to be clear, I don't want to be Facebook, that's probably what I'd do. But have you used Facebook in the past and found your usage waning? Or are you as committed as ever? Or do you steer clear of the Zuckerberg-flavoured apps altogether? Let me know down in the comments. In the next story, Microsoft, who have just bought Activision, Blizzard and Bethesda and already owned that Minecraft company, Mojang, seems to think that Apple has a massive antitrust issue. Now, you know, Microsoft Internet Explorer Microsoft, the ones with the antitrust problems. Good one. Microsoft is siding with the previously relevant games company Epic in their battle against Apple being able to earn money from the platforms that they created, wanting freedom from Apple's commissions in the App Store, akin to setting up your own table in the corner of your local shop and selling stuff that you made without expecting to pay rent for the space or some sort of cut to the owners of the building. Just because the store has built a building, a reputation, given you the space to store the things you made, and in fact most of the tools that you use to make your things, why would they feel entitled to any of your money? Am I being a bit hyperbolic here? I'm not really sure, but I think it's a pretty direct comparison. I haven't noticed Microsoft either offering to put the Epic Games Store directly onto the Xbox and taking no cut from the game or in-app purchases. Last I checked, you couldn't actually sideload your own apps on an Xbox, at least in an approved and supported way. But Windows, I hear you cry. Windows lets you do what you like. So does macOS. So pretty sure that's more comparable than an iPhone or iPad. So the tit for tat continues. The only thing we can know is good here is that Internet Explorer is finally out of the picture. But again, let me know your thoughts on this. Are you big into gaming? Do you think that it's different when it's Xbox compared to an iPhone or an iPad, and they have every right to charge people to use their platform, whereas Apple has no right whatsoever because the iPhone does things that aren't just games? Let me know in the comments. And getting into your iCave answers, John asks, iCave answers, if the portless iPhone actually happens, do you think Apple would release a lower cost wireless earbud? I know it's Apple, but still, I just think completely killing any kind of wired headphone option and selling no $100 or under earbuds except for the Beats Flex seems kind of wild. This is coming from a very happy AirPods Pro owner. I do think that that's what's going to happen. I mean, I've actually mentioned in the past that I thought when the AirPods 3 came out, that Apple would keep the AirPods 2 around and maybe put them at $99, which I think would have been a really good price. What actually happened? They did keep them around. They dropped them from $159 to $129, which is a great discount, and they are a really good set of earbuds for $129. However, I am with you. I do think that they could be cheaper. I think that Apple should offer some form of earbud piece things for under $100. Yes, I think they should do something for about $50, to be completely honest. I don't think they will, not in the near future anyway. And I don't think that we're getting to this portless iPhone anyway that quickly. I just don't think we're going to get USB-C before that. And Marcin Kowalczyk has submitted his setup. So we had a request in the comments to see viewers' setups, and this is the first one. Marcin Kowalczyk, thank you very much. I'm attaching my sneaker setup, or rather anticipation setup. The M1 Mac Mini baseline as my muscles. The late 2012 iMac 27-inch after the screen mod works as the display, and a HomePod Mini as audio. And the reason I'm calling this a sneaker setup is because it sneakily waits for the new iMac, and when that comes, I'll be giving this to my mum and using the new iMac. So this is a really cool setup. I love the fact that you've reused the original iMac display. So this has had the display mod where you basically put in a LCD controller board, I assume, and you've basically just replaced that with this board, and now you can HDMI into it. It's a really cool way of reusing the old hardware and not letting it just go to waste. 2012, I'm guessing that's one of the thicker ones that would have had the CD drive in there, the DVD drive, which is cool. It makes it a lot easier to do the mods than the slimline ones that came out in 2013, which is what I've got, because you don't have to cut the display off. You can actually remove it using magnets, and then remove the display glass that way, and then you unscrew the display itself, if I remember correctly. Let me know how you've got on using that HomePod Mini as a speaker. I tried to use it with the Mac Mini here, and the Bluetooth lag on it was horrendous. It was a couple of seconds between pausing a track and it stopping, and starting a track and it playing, and I think it was kind of compensating for it in watching videos, but anything that was like something where you would click and expect to hear a sound as you click was delayed and just horrible. So I hope you found a better way of doing that. Maybe it's plugged directly into the Mac Mini for power as well. That would be interesting to know if it's sending data directly. And if you've got a question that you want to ask in a future show, hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comment section. If you want to show off your setup, you can either DM me over on Twitter. The DMs are open, anyone can DM me, or tag me in a post on something else, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or any of the other Zuckerberg platforms that we've criticised heavily here. Thank you to all the Patreons. You can join them by going to iCaveDave.com/Patreon, or you can go to iCaveDave.com/merch and pick up some cool stuff with my name on it.